was excluded from the S&P 500, as Etsy ended up getting in. And I'm going to give my thoughts on this, and I think one of my biggest reasons as to why I think that Tesla did not get in, and we'll probably end up seeing a little bit of a sell-off on Tesla, or continued sell-off on Tesla, because everybody was expecting it to happen. It just didn't. I think one of the biggest things is, and Don and I even had this conversation as well, but it's too volatile, and the massive amount of market cap space that this has would influence the S&P so much that we could see $50 swings per day on the S&P 500 or more, because of just how volatile Tesla has been. And Don's point was that we had a private conversation about Tesla, and he was just saying, like, I think that the S&P also wants to see them prove themselves a little bit more, like, as far as profitability is concerned, that sort of thing. All the type of movement we've seen on Tesla has been like stuff that people are seeing way out into the future, still kind of somewhat speculative, nothing too crazy, but there's definitely a little bit more that Tesla has to prove, and probably be a little bit less volatile in order for the S&P to feel comfortable including them into the index.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't, this is a topic for another conversation, but we've mentioned in the Chaos Crew that it's like 44% institutions hold Tesla, whereas Etsy's 91%.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a little bit more predictability, and that might lend itself to less volatility with Etsy as well.
Yep.
Because they're not on emotion, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a great point as well. Which leads
stats,
us,
baby, call me stats.
which kind of leads us into the overall market this week as well. I pulled up something that was interesting. That Reuters put out an article, stated that SoftBank has been injecting a ridiculous amount of money into the markets, and that could be a reason why we saw such a surge in the tech sector. In particular, SoftBank injected roughly about $4 billion, building up stakes in Amazon, Netflix, Tesla, Microsoft, and Google, according to their regulatory filings. SoftBank's options of $4 billion generated an exposure of about $50 billion, according to Wall Street Journal. Multiple sources have reached out for comment from SoftBank, but nothing from them. And so this could have very well influenced the market, especially if it comes to light that SoftBank has been selling a lot over these last several days, that kind of created this panic. Now, the market itself was overvalued, and it needed a correction. So, and we're still very much in a correction. I'm not ready to call it a crash just yet. So I think that there's definitely some things that happened, because everybody was trying to figure out what's the catalyst. Why was this selling off? And so maybe that could have been something that triggered it. But in my opinion, I think this is just a little bit of a bump in the road. I've been adding to dips over the last several days. I think Tuesday could be something where we see a little bit of a continued sell-off. But leading into the end of the week, I think we see some of that buying return. And I don't think that this dip lasts forever. I think we start to see this turn right back around. We could end up seeing a rally into the election, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look at the weekly chart. Look at the monthly. Like, look at any chart in since March. It needed to cool off. It needed to come back. And I feel like we've gotten so comfortable to see these ridiculous gains and the NASDAQ run and everything run in tech, part justified. But like, at some point, the run is too much, and it's got to pull back, because you can't just say, what if it's up 1,000%? And then it pulls back, 20%. Does that mean that it's a crash? No, it's just a pullback. So this beginning of this week will be interesting. I'm going to probably sit on my hands at the beginning of the week.
Yep.
But from, like you said, leading up to the election, for sure, I think we're still trending up.
Yeah. And the whole SoftBank stuff was crazy too. I mean, $50 billion is not chump change. So if that much money was being leveraged into just those 5 positions, that's absolutely insane, especially from the option side of things. So I think that I've never been a fan of SoftBank. I mean, especially ever since the WeWork debacle. They're very much let's just throw money at things and see what happens. And so it seems as if they were doing the same thing here. Hopefully it doesn't create even more of a panic, but either way, I think that looking for areas of opportunity are going to pay off for you folks. So it's very much buy the F and dip at this point. Where could we see it land? I could see the Nasdaq maybe landing. I don't know. Maybe we could get it back to 11,000 flat probably.